Hi everybody, Rad Mom here. Welcome back to the garden on a rainy autumn evening where I have come to tell y'all that I have been sick as a dog. But I did see something this week that caught my attention and I wanted, to start a conversation about it. I was hoping to get some thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this. Because another creator, Kelgore, had made a point actually a while back about trad content seeming to be just kind of sexy, but like as if it's kink material. Like she made the connection between sexually charged, but maybe not obviously erotic, material and this trad wife stuff, and she suspects that maybe trad is just a kink too. And I thought that was kind of funny, because her description of it and why she believes this also perfectly describes the online trans movement to a freaking T. And I just thought that was super funny. Let's go.
Pick a house dress, skincare, makeup, and yeah, I gotta love this camera angle. Breakfast, eggs, maple oatmeal, cucumber salad, Starbucks espresso, and a walk to the park. Yeah, definitely doesn't feel sexually charged.
We're gonna start with a little bit of a peek, a little bit of a sample of the stuff that she covers in her actual 2-part video, which I do recommend you go and watch. It's a bit light on the analysis, and she's just scratched the surface, and we're just gonna scratch it a little harder.
Laundry, grooming my dog, very cute.
Everybody has talked about this girl because, she's gorgeous and produces some clearly titillating content. No pun intended.
Clean the house. Oh, hubby's home. Dinner, borscht. Am I saying that right? Bake cupcakes. Epsom salt bath. So let's ask ourselves the questions. Does this feel sexually charged? Absolutely. This is straight up role play material. Like this, that's all this is.
I cannot disagree with that assessment. And it's damn funny when you look at it like that, isn't it? But, where exactly does role play end and a lifestyle begin? This sounds like a familiar question to me.
What are the political undertones? This one wasn't super political.
This is apolitical if you consider a siren song to be apolitical.
In general, did a lot of that feel sexually charged?
Yeah. It's all about sexual politics, isn't it? Is it horny? Well, yeah. It's a lot of it is a bunch of dudes talking about what they think their women ought to do and not do, so... Yeah, a bunch of dudes alone in a room thinking about women. Yeah.
A lot of it is just like a vibe that people want. There's definitely a lot of like political undertones of like conservatism, Christianity, really nothing outside of that. And they're wrapping anti-feminism into that, even though you can be feminine and be a feminist.
Thank you.
And is it harming anyone? Yeah, I think it is, because a lot of people will end up in marriages with a lot of children that maybe they were not prepared for.
That's right. Conservative lifestyle expects a lifetime commitment, doesn't it? And they're not very honest about what's actually going to be entailed in that, are they? So, yeah, clearly there are going to be some people with buyer's remorse later on who buy into this fantasy. But again, this all sounds very familiar.
Maybe there's some unresolved shit going on in a lot of the hearts and minds of these people, and they should seek therapy.
We should probably all seek therapy for our unresolved shit. But she could literally be talking about TRAs, right?
This is the part where I ruin all the fun.
Right, and we haven't even started talking about the fascism yet.
We saw Uncage the Lion, and we saw appealing to that 50s sense of the nuclear family, or the really, really beautiful women, or the really, really ripped men. We see this imagery over and over again. So
we have the repetition of the extremely positive imagery, all those touchy-feely success stories, all those glitzy Barbie boy videos. I mean, that is aspirational shit.
It reminded me of something I read recently, and I'm reading a book called The Post-Internet Far Right. Have not finished it, so I won't give a review just yet.
When you say far right, what does that mean? You have to actually look at what people do and the effects of the stuff that they support. Just because somebody says that they, are inclusive, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
But it's teaching me how to talk about these people and how to dissect their actions in a way that I think is hopefully somewhat productive.
And I think that's really valuable. Thank you, Kilgore, for doing that sort of work, and educating yourself and trying to raise the level of conversation. I really do appreciate that. We should all appreciate that sort of effort. I just wonder how this book defines the right.
Because going around and calling every single, slightly conservative Instagram grifter a Nazi is really not going to get us anywhere.
But you have to call this stuff out when you do see it, regardless of the clothing that it wears, right?
Let me just read this line about the way that fascists will use mythology, and imagery to spread their message. This is not because fascists are particularly imaginative, but because lacking a material basis for their politics,
are you seeing this?
Such as class struggle or the struggles of the oppressed, fascists instead think in terms of quasi-mythic imaginary forms.
Like trans women, perhaps? Ooh, it's raining.
Always metaphysically clashing in a realm of pure strife, its images deeply freighted with feeling.
Where man and woman are just fucking social constructs that you can just kind of play with in your mind. I don't know, this sounds like the same damn thing to me.
And this reminded me so much of this trad content. I think we all have this image in our head of what biblical times must have looked like or felt like. And that time period is given so much weight and righteousness that I think anybody who is Christian or has Christian values has an urge to almost recreate that for themselves.
And the thing is, I don't disagree with her reading of this symbolism at all. I think she's right. I think that's exactly what this is. But, she doesn't apply it broadly enough.
An urge to almost recreate that for themselves in a broad sense. That traditional marriage is better, or that women being oppressed is a good thing, or that hardcore masculinity is even useful. There doesn't need to be a reason, a material basis to recreate the biblical times and its values. In other words, traditional marriage isn't better. These people just think it's sort of hot. And by hot, I mean it satisfies some part of their brain that says Bible good. There isn't any factual basis for it. It's just like with a sexual kink, there doesn't need to be a good reason or an ideology behind it. You don't need to be able to write a thesis about why you like to get stuffed in a box or stepped on. It's just something that makes a person feel good even though it's objectively bad. That's what this
And now we're in the dark.
But the difference is that
Happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
That's what this fantasy is. But the difference is that most kinks start and end in the bedroom, right? Whereas this trad lifestyle has permeated all parts of our lives. It's our politics, it's this religion, it's in our culture. It's kind of like when furries wear their fursuits to the mall. And you're like, keep it in the bedroom,
It's permeated everything. It's in politics, it's in the culture. It's like when the furries want to wear their costumes to the mall. Yeah. And I would argue that is the same thing. Y'all saw the cat fall through the thing. I'm going to call that a night. Join me next week for a real video, and hopefully I'll be feeling better by then. And here in a little bit at noon for the live stream and discussion. And let me know in the comments, do you guys think that, trans versus trad, which one, this is performative lifestyle kink weirdness of different socio-political flavors. That is my thesis. Thank you for joining me. I have been Rad Mom out here trying to get this shit done, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.